Welcome to Puppet Horror. I'm Josh, and this is my puppet Emilio. Oh, sorry. This is Emilio. Today he will be telling us about a whopping 100 mysteries that still baffle and intrigue us to this day. Now, I don't know what he has prepared, but I do believe you're breaking this down into columns of 10, is that correct?
Yes, see, that is correct. I am going to be discussing 10 mysteries within 10 groups. So, first group will be medical mysteries. I will give you all 10 lesser known mysteries pertaining to the human body or medical science. And then repeat the process until I've given you 100 million bajillion mysteries that will leave you questioning everything.
100 million bajillion? I don't think that's a number, let alone a word, Emilio.
Editor!
Hey guys, I did look it up and it does have a definition. It's just a term used to express a large, undeterminable amount.
Who would have thought? Well, don't let me hold you back. I guess let's just jump right in, shall we? Oh, but can we maybe stick to the title of 100? I think 1 million bajillion is probably just a little too much.
Good idea. The 10 groups are as follow: medical, crimes, murder, spooky ghosts, the occult, cryptids, aliens, missing, Earth, and conspiracies.
The group of 10 mysteries we bring to you now pertains to
medical.
What if I told you tomorrow 500,000 people would suddenly wake up, conscious but unable to move, frozen in a state of dormancy, their static bodies unable to move, speak, or react, almost like living statues? Well, from 1917 to 1928, that is exactly what happened. Though the disease known as sleeping sickness has popped up throughout the years, it is very rare and thought to be caused by a parasite. Ooh. However, no one knows what caused the onset of 500,000 infected in the early 1900s. The silent killer is not a serial killer, but an abdominal aortic aneurysm, or AAA, not roadside assistance. Often, by the time patients realize they have one, it is too late and they succumb to the silent killer. But in 2013, a retired engineer named Jim Malloy was hired for a medical acting role by the University of Virginia. Jim was a 75-year-old man and was assisting the university by playing the part of a patient with an undiagnosed abdominal aortic aneurysm. He was told what symptoms to voice and see if the students could catch the ailment. The thing about the silent killer is, it is not unusual to show no symptoms until it is too late. When third-year Ryan Jones stepped into the office to speak with and evaluate the actor, he was shocked when a mass was felt while examining Jim's abdomen. Ryan was confused because this was all supposed to be pretend, practice for identifying a false condition. Ryan tried to get Jim to break character. However, the thespian would not. But it would turn out that Jim did in fact have the silent killer present, and like many, showed no symptoms. Jim was rushed into surgery, had a stent put in, and ultimately, his life saved. This odd encounter takes method acting to a whole new level. Talk about the role of a lifetime. Follow your heart. This idiom would take on a somber and eerie meaning for those involved in the true story I'm about to mention. An older man decided to walk out into a shed one day and tragically take his own life. He did this via shotgun. His death was indeed mourned by his family. However, what if I told you that this wasn't the first time his family had mourned his non-beating heart? Confused? I don't blame you. Let's start the story by going back 12 years before this tragic end took place. Let's look at another man, a younger 33-year-old man named Terry Cottle. Terry Cottle had a family, and from the outside looking in seemed to have his life together. However, for reasons unknown, Cottle sadly also decided to take his life in a very similar fashion to the aforementioned. Although Cottle's death is just as tragic as the next, this particular decision to take one's own life would at least provide a glimmer of hope for another. See, 69-year-old Sonny Graham was next up on the donors list for a new heart. And after a successful surgery, 69-year-old Sonny now had a new ticker. And it was younger. This younger heart extended his life. With his younger, healthier heart, Sonny, like many donor recipients, decided to reach out to those mourning the late Terry Cottle to learn about the life and the man whose heart he had received. Understandably, Sonny wanted to know who had unintentionally saved his life. So after writing letters of gratitude to Terry's widowed wife, something unexpected would happen. The two fell in love and eventually got married. Sonny would later say in interviews that he felt like he had known his newly acquired wife his whole life and had this unexplainable connection with her. To Sonny, the feeling and attraction was unavoidable. After all, the heart wants what the heart wants. Sonny's marriage to the late Terry Cottle's wife was somewhat of a big story. It's not every day the recipient of an organ, let alone a heart, falls in love and marries the donor's widowed spouse. But none of what I have just told you is why I chose to tell this story. See, the reason I'm telling this story is because that man I mentioned in the very beginning was Sonny. Meaning, 12 years before Sonny walked into the shed on his family's property and took his own life, Terry had walked into that same shed and took his own life. Terry stopped his heart with a gunshot. And 12 years later, the man who would receive his heart would do the exact same. History repeating itself. Don't sweat it. We've heard this saying a lot. Maybe someone has told us for moral support or confidence. What if you could never shower, never swim, never wash your hands, never chance going outside even with an umbrella in fear that a droplet of water may splash your ankle? And why would you have this fear, you ask? Why would you not be able to do these everyday things like shower or brush your teeth? Well, it's because you have a condition. A condition so rare that fewer than 100 people have ever, in the history of documented medical science, have ever had. It is a condition known as aquagenic urticaria, or simply put, water allergy. That's right. No one knows what causes this, but for some, the reaction can be so bad, so sensitive, that the fear of sweating or crying is an everyday worry. This is particularly strange when you realize that the human body is made up of 60% water. But those with the water allergy don't seem to be affected by that, just as long as the water inside does not wind up on the outside. It's a condition so rare that there are more questions than answers. Thank God Kevin Costner didn't have this condition in that amazing movie Waterworld. Harvey Dent is a fictional politician turned Batman villain who first appeared in DC's Detective Comics, issue 66, back in 1942. Though I am a collector of comics, my passion tends to tip towards the Marvel side of the scale. However, I, ironically, have always used the DC villain's name, Harvey Dent, to describe those I find to be two-faced. If you are not familiar with the term to be two-faced, it is a term given to some who have earned a not-so-appealing reputation. In short, they can be distrustful, deceitful, and may flip on you like a flip of a coin. With the coin having two sides, it stands to say you never know what you're going to get. But this mystery, which I'm about to speak of now, does not have anything to do with the comic villain. Moreover, it does not even pertain to the metaphorical meaning of one being two-faced. No, my friends, this mystery takes a more literal approach to the term of one being two-faced. Ask yourselves, have you ever seen a human with two fully formed faces? Perhaps you have in cinema. American Horror Story Season 4 Freak Show brought us one of these two-faced characters. Yes, you are probably seeing where I'm going with this one. This fourth season, which also just so happened to be the best ever, that's not just opinion, that's fact, fight me, was considered to be a love letter to actress Jessica Lange, and about halfway through the season, hosted its Halloween episode. And like seasons before, AHS Halloween episodes always seem to have a darker tone than the rest of the series. And Season 4's Halloween episode did not disappoint. I remember it so well, like it was yesterday. The beautiful Jessica Lange was singing a rendition of Lana Del Rey's Gods and Monsters. She looked so beautiful, a singing angel. Ooh, Dreamweaver, I believe you can get me through. Anyways, in the show, the freaks were afraid of performing on Halloween night because it was considered sacrilege, and in turn would directly summon the spirit of Edward Mordrake. Finally, we arrive at this mystery's guest of honor, because the late Edward Mordrake was a supposed freak with a parasite attached to the back of his head. This parasitic twin would remain static to others. However, to Edward, it was said that the additional face would whisper evil thoughts to him and egg Edward on into taking his own life, which Edward was said to have tragically done. So sad. Apparently, the body of the young Edward Mordrake would be found deceased with the demon's face smiling still, even after death. There is no non-fiction literature public to prove that this individual with two faces even lived at all, and most scholars claim it all to be a hoax, a fictional story told by a fiction writer. The photos that can be found online of Edward Mordrake are all said to be fake, and the story of the once living Edward Mordrake is all said to be hogwash. But on the other side of the coin, there are many who say otherwise. Chimeras are mythical creatures that consist of two or more completely different species. Like goat's head on top a lion's body. It is the concept of having a single cell organism made up of two or more cells. What if I told you that there are human chimeras? That's right. Though rare, there are cases like the one which a mother had given birth to a child to find out that the child does not share any genetic code with the biological mother. This is due to the mother being multi-celled. She contained the DNA of not one, but two people. So, testing suggested that they are literally not related, despite the mother having birthed the child. I'd love to see this on an episode of Murray. You are not the mother. Don't bug me, or bug off, is something you may have suggested or demanded even to another at some point in your life. Perhaps to your own kids while working on your laptop, or even to a loved one or spouse. I know I once dated a girl who shared this next condition, which my saying "don't bug me" would have taken an apathetic approach, to say the least. Formication is the sensation of feeling something crawling on you. We may have felt this from time to time. We swipe whatever was on us away, only to realize that nothing was there in the first place, and it was all in our head. What if I told you there is a condition where you constantly feel this way? It is known as Morgellons disease. This disease causes the sufferer to imagine bugs or mites crawling all over them. The patient suffering from Morgellons will feel and sometimes see the presence of a parasite or insect crawling all over them. My ex, for example, felt them under her skin. I'll save you the gory details and let you figure out of how she got rid of them. An accurate display of how those afflicted with the condition may act is immaculately portrayed by thespians Michael Shannon and Ashlyn Judd in the 2006 film Bug. Talk about an infestation. Ugh. To live by the sword is a phrase coined from a proverb within the Gospel of Matthew, and is usually followed by the line, "Die by the sword," used to teach those who may live an exciting and even reckless life that you indeed reap what you sow. But this idiom of one living and dying by the sword would, of course, have a poster boy in later years. Prepare yourself, because this one is hard to hear, or should I say, swallow. In 1799, a sailor named John Cummings went ashore in French port for a night party. After several drinks, an intoxicated Cummings claimed to his fellow crew that he could swallow knives. Skeptical of his claim, the crew provided John with 3 knives to swallow whole. And a man of his word, Cummings did just that. This act of John's over time became a party piece to entertain guests. Though physicians were skeptical of this rumored ability that John claimed to have, it wasn't until his death when over 13 knives were found within his intestines. Oh my God! Talk about gut-wrenching stuff, huh? But at least it didn't come out the other end, eh? Bring back John's sailboat so we can maybe go fishing. Because I hear mermaids are real. Well, sorta. And they don't live in the water, I guess, so... Not really mermaids, and just go and sink the boat. See, there is a condition known as cyanomelia. It is a birth defect in which the sufferer's legs are conjoined, resembling the tail of a mermaid. Now, this is not a beautiful condition whatsoever. In fact, it's very troubling for anyone who has suffered from this condition. Furthermore, anyone who has developed this deformity has died at a very young age, and that is a debilitating thought. Even with multiple cases, no one knows for sure what causes this. I mean, is it evolution's way of nudging us towards a more aquatic life?
Merman! Merman!
After all, during early stages of development, humans, while in the womb, are in rare cases equipped with a literal tail. But this tail is also separate from their legs, so not the exact same thing. But when this rare tail appendage forms, it usually takes place around the 5th or 6th week of gestation and can contain up to 12 vertebrae and
is usually already gone by the 8th week or so. You may have also heard the misbelief that we don a set of gills while in the womb. This is misinterpreted. These gill-like slits, known as pharyngeal arches, also known as pharyngeal gill slits, have created a misconception amongst many. Humans don't have gills, y'all. Grow up. So if you ever hear someone say we are born with gills like fish, you can correct them and say, "Wrong!" For it is just a structure within us that later shapes and forms our jawbone. I will add that fish do too have these arches, but instead of forming a mandible, they form gills, so the more you know.
Guess what? Bird butt.
It's chicken butt. I think you're supposed to say chicken butt.
Oh, I forgot you were here.
Really?
And it was so peaceful. Anyways, historians have discovered that history bears several strange and obscene remedies for diseases throughout time. Whether it be crocodile dung used for contraception or blood of puppies to heal royalty. We hear about strange procedures and medicines from the past often. Well, this next case is one of those. German physician Karl Cannstatt claimed to be a specialist in childhood diseases. One of the treatments he suggested for pediatric suffering from epilepsy was an unusual prescription, to say the least. For those treating infant convulsions, Karl instructed others and parents to shove a bird up the child's ass.
Whoa, 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 whoa. But what? I'm sorry. What was that?
What? What was what? Well, the good doctor suggested that if one holds the rump of a dove against the child's anus during the fit, the animal soon dies and the attack ceases just as rapidly. I have no pun for this one.
No?
Why do you keep interrupting me? But no, Josh. See, the strange part is not the unorthodox procedure, but the fact that it worked. Allegedly. In August of 1850, a child was suffering from back-to-back convulsions with no end in sight. Fearing the child's life was in danger, the physician attempted one last-ditch effort to bring the child out of these never-ending seizures. So, he demanded anyone to go and find him a pigeon, as it may be the child's only hope.
I highly doubt that.
Quiet! You say that, but moments later, with pigeon in hand, the good doctor placed the butt of the bird up against the boy's poo-poo hole, and sure as dookie, the boy stopped convulsing, and soon gained consciousness. What is it?
I mean, did you have to say poo-poo hole? Did you have to say the boy's poo-poo hole?
Yes.
I just feel like you could have said it differently, you know?
Yes, Well, that is medical terminology, I believe. I believe we should take this moment to break and pick up with the remaining 90 mysteries next week. I hope you all had a wonderful time here with me and this guy. If you'd like to be notified of future puppet horror, then click the bell icon, and remember, you may need to make sure your YouTube notifications are switched on within your settings on your phone. Let us know what was your favorite medical mystery down in the comment section. Also, there is a rubber ducky hidden within this episode, so the first person to post the timestamp and its location will get their comment pinned at the top. Take care, cadavers. I'll see you in the next one.
I can't believe you said poo-poo hole.